What's going on, everyone? Reese here, aka New but Soda, bringing you another trading recap. And today, I must say, I'm quite pleased. Had some really good execution. Wasn't the very best price action, but came out with 2.5 R. So very pleased with that. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So first trade I was looking at was a potential long off this hourly PCH. We got here at 41,116. So we had a big old dump candle on the first 5 minute and kind of came right into that level. So ended up taking a stab at the long there. So just took the 410 calls here, grabbed them right at about 9.35 at $1.68 with a 20-cent stop, tight stop, because realistically, if it's going to have some sort of cover bounce, I want it to happen relatively immediately, and any wider of a stop, the trade's probably not going to work, right? So I guess since I grabbed it right at the end of the 5 minute, it technically put my execution here. Pretty sure it must have been just as it closed. It's literally on the second there, but we got a tiny little pop and price action really wasn't moving that well. My original target was the 50 fib retrace of the 5 minute, which it did hit. So I think realistically this was my only miss execution that I could have done a little bit better on. Was just trying to protect myself, so I did exactly that, just taking it off for like a little less than 2 hours, so 168 to 84, risking 20 cents, just a little under 1 R trade. And I was just trying to be cautious because it's very early in the morning, and this is when the most volatility is. So could have got more out of it. As you could see, the 50 fib came in around like 210, 215. So definitely could have got a decent trade on here, but unfortunately didn't execute according to the plan, panicked out of it, but at least came out with a little bit of green. So the next trade, we let some price action go by, we get the breakdown, and I see these signs of basing. So immediately I'm thinking, we set up this 5 minute PCH, we could get a nice retest here. So I go to set out an order rather on this PCH, which is 139. I set it at 145, and I ended up getting filled like right up here. And at that point, I kind of realized this is more or less a short continuation short setup, because we got the 5 minute black magic breakdown PCL. So I very quickly cut it, and I was very glad I did. I only took a 5-cent loss. So my market here at 1031 on the 410C is 145, and I just hit close, and luckily TradeStation has very good execution speed, and it got me out right at 140 and then proceeded to dump like another 15 cents. And this obviously would have hit my stop loss, the low of 111, and my stop loss is at 125. So was very pleased. I usually don't cut trades with discretion, but that one made sense. I realized I was completely wrong. Sure, there was a chance that could hold, but I also got in way too high on a higher delta, because I believe at this point SPY's right around 411. So I try to go in the money, and yeah, there's more of a chance it's gonna hit my stop not being that exact. It wasn't a good continuation trade, just rejecting off this 5 minute black magic. So once I realized that, I quickly switched to the puts, seeing that we rejected the opening range. And I grabbed the 411s here. So I got kind of lucky because I accidentally had my limit out order still for this 145 limit out. I still had it on, so you could see I went to go buy it still with that limit, and luckily it just filled me at 123, the actual market price. So kind of playing off the PCH that's set up on the puts here. I got a buy in there, first minute execution as per usual, and sold it relatively quickly at 1044, so a little less than 10 minutes of the trade, and got an R there. I realized, there was no real sign that we were actually going to break down. It hadn't broken down yet, so the reality is you should expect it to hold, and if it actually does break down, I reminded myself I can get back in. So I just covered there into the 411, 410, and pretty much damn near top ticked it. My sell there was 143, and the high is 145. So I was very pleased covering that. and unfortunately couldn't switch to the call soon enough. You can see this nonsense and shenanigans here. Didn't see the 1 2 3. Yeah, so this is the 15 that launches. We started 15 at the bottom of the range. Get the 1 2 3 kind of set up here on the 5 minute, which causes the launch, and then I was looking to get it in on some of the PCHs we created. We had one here. We had one here on the 30 minute setting up, and nothing on the hourly yet, but just kept trying to step up my orders. Never really got filled. Salt wasn't really going very far. I mean, we only came back up to test the 50 fib and just retraced to the 5. So all that being said, I ended up just pulling all my orders, which I was stepping up for a little bit. Yeah, for about 6 minutes, I was just trying to step up orders to get filled, and then ended up taking a short setup finally here. So we have this PCL on the hourly from yesterday's close and then this morning's breakdown. So looking to try to bag a short off of that. We got a lot of wicks. Unfortunately, I missed the first test, as you can see here in my execution. This was the first test. I missed it. Waited for the candle to close. Executed 20 seconds in. I don't believe it was popping that much, as you can see. So I got it maybe right around here, for argument's sake. You can see the low is 118. I grabbed it around 123, so pretty good execution. And realistically, I was saying to myself, we just broke out of a basing. No, this doesn't look like it's going to go much higher, but realistically, what hasn't occurred, and that's we haven't broken the 5 minute 9, there's a good chance we could just retrace and bounce. So I decided my best bet, especially taking that these are high deltas, was to just cover. Oh, my apologies, I just realized I had the wrong. So here's the high delta. Yeah, so seeing that we got a 413s, and you can see SPY's trading at 411 right now, and it's about the same area. So maybe got up to 412, took a 413, $1 in the money with a 20-cent stop, and just paid myself into the 5 minute 9, realizing again, if there's any confirmation that this does break down and this hourly setup is really going to pay, that I can just get back in. I have more bullets. These contracts aren't super expensive. So that's been a major key for me, realizing that where the bounces could occur and where I really need to take profit. Yes, this is an hourly setup, sure, but everything kind of looks pretty bullish, right? You got just higher price action, PCH is forming on every time frame, bunch of volume down here. So just took the quick scalp there, got out in the same candle, really 3 minutes, a little over an hour. Didn't top ticket, unfortunately. Actually, that's pretty dang near close. So on that candle was 170, got out 167. The highest it saw was 175. So no complaints for me there. I ended up 2.5 R, and I'm really pleased with how I executed my trades. I'd give myself probably like an A. I think the only maybe A minus, the thing that could have been better was if I listened to my original target and gave it a second. But you know, the opening jitters can get to you a little bit, and I'm glad I still got a win. And my loss was probably the smallest one it's been since I started this account. I've never really cut a trade early or realized my mistake quick enough. So I was super pleased with that. This was definitely a tougher day. There really wasn't much follow through. This was a nice bounce, but again, a little tough to catch. And I decided after that trade, we kept testing it, but we also were just holding this. So I looked on my hourly chart. We got a PCH here and a PCL, and I set around like 12 o'clock. I'm like, you know, this doesn't look like there's going to be much of a follow through anywhere, because we just test the PCH and we get a nice breakup back again, and then we test the PCL. So a lot of tug of war, and I'm glad I stepped away, because I mean, what kind of breakup is that? You get the breakup and then you fall right back in. A slight breakup, fall back over. So just seems like it's going to be a consolidation day. We're just middle of the range right now, 55 with the opening range. Going to call it there, take my 2.5 R, and record my trades in my journals for my stats. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed. Hope this was informative. And as always, open to criticisms and concerns. So feel free, drop them in the comments. Appreciate anyone who likes the video and subscribes. It means a lot. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace.